But there's some really basic things that we know are true for most people, and we get that from research. We get that from many, many years of experience. I mean, I can't see people for 30 years and not say, this seems to work with a lot, and that doesn't seem to work. But, you know, you need to take that research and say, can I help a person apply this to themselves individually, to how, you know, their past experience has been of change? What were they successful with? Why not work off of something that's been working in the past? And some people have never been successful at change. It's fine. Let's go to the science and let's see where we should start experimenting. My job as a coach, when I'm in that role, is when somebody says, I'm not successful, even though I set a time, I don't do it. My job is, okay, how can we make it easier to do that step? If we can't make it simple, if we can't make it easy to do, so that a person can at least think about it easily, you know, it's not going to work. So once we get it, sometimes what it is I call them up. Hi, it's Wednesday, you're going to start your project, you know, how's it going? And that's enough to keep it going. Other times, you know, they get a partner at work or at home to do it. You know, we use computer reminders, we use all sorts of things. And then we look at what works and what doesn't work. And for everybody, that's really one of the simple steps is are you tracking? Are you paying attention to what works and what doesn't work? Keep using the things that work. When something doesn't work, how could you modify it? And that's really the other piece of this.
Right.
I also think it's important, we use the word simple here, easy. This stuff is simple in the traditional sense of easy, hard. It's not necessarily easy. It takes some effort, and the question is, can we make it so that that effort comes as easily as possible? So much this is about a habit, and losing the old habit, getting rid of it, getting the new habit, and that process is well understood, and it's just difficult to go through. And people say, well, what's the trick? What's the secret? Practice, repetition, practice, maybe some repetition, along with some practice and some repetition. And that's what it takes to get yourself through that. So how do you set that up so that's as easy as possible? How do you go so that you remember more times? Do you put a sign on the mirror in front of you? Do you put a sign on the toothpaste tube? You know, what is it that you do so that you have more and more successes? So our brains are designed so that the neurons develop thicker walls and better insulation the more we use a circuit, and so that they're more resistant to change. So you got a really good habit, it's very resistant to change. Some people think of it like a deep ditch. And so to change, we have to interrupt that circuit. It's very, very difficult in some ways, even when it's simple. But the more I can do this way, that has very weak walls and tentative, and I build this circuit, this one will start to diminish. And at some point, you've got both going. It's easy to do this, and it's not too hard to do that. And you just got to keep working on it.
Whatever you repeat often enough will become a permanent habit. And it just was so straightforward. And so for the good habits, I could practice saying it. Right, whatever you repeat often enough will become a permanent habit.
Those bad habits, there's nothing magical about them. You've just repeated them a lot.
Right, right.
So there's a way out.